Let's get a full 50-minute class using both the half roller and the foam roller, the full foam roller, for balance. We're going to set the foam roller aside. We're going to start with some kneeling exercises. Now, if you have sensitivity or you're wearing like pants that are kind of slippery, put a grip pad over it. You can always, I always keep a couple on the back of my reformer. Just put it on the top. And sometimes we're not going to really sweat today, but sometimes if I'm going to add a half roller kneeling and I want to be safe, also use the grip too. So what I prefer is to make an adjustment, and let me show you with the camera side leg, to where my kneecap is off. Now, if I'm going to put my hands here, I want to make sure my knee is a little bit farther back, and everybody's different on their limb length. But I basically want to get the knee under my hip. And so when I do this series on the reformer, it's more challenging because I'm putting myself in a moving surface, the reformer, and I'm also on an unstable surface. You can do this flat side up too, but we're going to start with a flat side down. I've got a red spring on, so there's some movement, but not a ton. I'm also going to make sure that when I start that my arms are touching the bar. And as I gain stability and gain confidence, I want to move my arms away. So just starting with the carriage slightly open. I want to also make sure I'm not all the way sitting to one side. So I kind of want to look, and I want to start with my leg down on the ground and engage the glute, lengthen the spine, and simply take the leg up and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and switch. Now, if you're having trouble with the carriage and the springs, put them all on so it doesn't move. That's also an option, but adjust the knee according. So I've got myself on, my knee is slightly off, organized, lower and lift the leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to say that when I'm in this position, I'm not loading my left side. I'm loading I'm not loading the kneeling side arm. So try not to be shifted over. Try to really challenge and find more even weight distribution between your arms. So let's go back. I'm going to start in the position. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my leg touching the shoulder rest. So my raised leg. And I'm going to close the carriage. And I'm going to shift myself back a little bit to where I'm not touching the bar. Please remember, keep it on the bar if you need that extra support. Take your hip from being adjusted out, align the hip over the knee, and lift the leg up, adjust, and bend and straighten knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Not a high level challenge, but just getting our body used to this. If you feel that you need a pad for your hands on the gray strip, please grab that. We're not going to be there long, but please pad if that's uncomfortable. So we're going to get organized. Left shin is now on. Right shin is rested on the shoulder rest. I'm going to shift myself back just enough. Close the carriage so my knee is under my hip. Raise the leg, organize, and 5, bend. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we're going to go from hands on gray strip to forearms on foot bar, going back to the right. I'm going to grab a grip and show you this. I didn't mention this because my foam roller is moving a bit. Put a grip on the headrest, and that'll also help stabilize because every time we transition. All right, let's go back to right. Off, or right on, forearms on. Now I'm going to shift myself over a little bit more for this one. So instead of being off to the side, I'm going to offset my body. I'm going to get myself organized. Always pad the bar if you need it. I've got my knee slightly off. I'm going to open the carriage a little bit, and I'm just going to hold the leg up. I'm going to take my time to bring my right forearm off and bring the arm forward and just hold this bird dog version. Just about 10 seconds. Keeping the pelvis level. And switch. Oh, there goes my sticky pad. I'm going to leave it off of there. I'm actually going to put both of them underneath. There we go. All right, so I've got my forearms offset to the right. Lift my right leg up, organize my upper body, level my pelvis, bring your left arm off, reaching it forward for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and rest. All right, so we're going to go from kneeling to sitting. Plop on if you like, just like I did. And what we're going to do is push ourselves out. Now, there's a level of instability there because we're not sitting on the carriage. So we're going to start with hands on the spring side edge. And we're going to put our feet together, bird perch our toes, lengthen through our spine, and just simply do a little ankle, plantar and dorsiflexion, point and flex. Now, as we do this, we're going to get used to the instability and take our arms off. And let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep one hand on or both if you need, and 1. Bend your knees, bring yourself forward, hands on the bar, and just simply press back and stretch. Let's do 5 of those. And exhale, stretch. Now, you may be thinking, God, this is killing my butt. Yes, it is. You're massaging a lot of those muscles in that area. If it's uncomfortable, pad the foam roller for this specific exercise. Now, press and hold. Try to take yourself, stay that long spine, arms up or off, and then up as you sit up. And then arms come down as you flex forward at the hips and spine. And then back up and back down. Stretch forward through your skull and up. And last 2, arms go back to counterweight, reaching them back as the skull reaches forward and up. And last 1, arms go down, stretch forward. Now I'm shaking all over the place. Now let's take the right leg down and let's place our hands on and then left leg down. And I'm going to just start with my heels on, and I'm going to do leg presses with my hands down. Now this is going to seem fairly simple, but you need to make sure when you take your arms off that we're in a nice controlled balance. Let's do 2 more, getting a little bit of a wrist stretch here. Didn't anticipate that, but that feels good. Now press and hold. Abs are engaged. Feet are parallel, hip distance apart. Arms are forward. And press in and out for 5, 4, 3. Nice abdominal contraction. And 1. Hold the out position. If you need to put your hands down, great. If not, walk right up and press for 5, 4. If a red is too much, go down to a blue. I don't want you sliding off this. Press and hold, right foot down, left foot up, and in and out for 5, 4. Lats and pecs are engaged, length through your spine, skull reaches up, 2, 1. Both feet up. Nice V on the feet. Reach arms through as we bend and press for 5, 4, 3, balancing on that pelvis, 2, and 1. Hands back down. Let's go ahead and slowly come off. This one is going to require us to move the foam roller in front of each shoulder rest. So I'm going to move my grippies. I'm going to put it in front of one shoulder rest, and I'm going to put my left knee on. We're going to face back now. So I've seen this done a lot. If you need to get a half roller, because this one you have to, your kneecap is on. If it's uncomfortable, you just, I'm going to bring my leg higher, and I'm going to kind of bend my right elbow. So your option of this is up to you. Grab the strap, energy through the toe and the skull, abs are in, and pull for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Now hold that, bend the knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more, and rest. Knee on bed, post the strap. Let's move that foam roller to the other shoulder rest. Move your grippies as well. Now let's say the first time you do this, you're all over the place. That's called motor learning. You're getting used to this. If you feel uncomfortable on any of these, especially when we get to the foam roller series, the full foam roller series, omit them if they're above your balance, okay? So please, safety is paramount. So right leg is on. Now I didn't mention, but it goes without saying, to try to get your knee as best well organized under the hip. We don't want it too far forward. So once you get set up, left hand's on shoulder rest. Lift your leg, get yourself organized. Leg is over the bar, and grab your strap. Elbow is soft. Pec and lat energy from both the toe and skull, and pull for 5. Level pelvis as best you can. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Hold the arm up, bend the knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knee down, post your straps, come on off. Let's do a supine. Let's lie down for a quick moment before I do our standing. And I'm going to stay on a yellow or a red. Go ahead and hop on. Make sure it's adjusted evenly between the shoulder rest at the headrest. Hands on the carriage, slide your butt forward, grab the spring side edge, roll down, feet on foot bar. Keeping your hands down to start with, arms down, lengthen your neck, and press for 5, 4. I'm trying to make sure I'm not up against the shoulder rests, so I'm not using them to stabilize my body. If you have to in the beginning to do that, that's fine. Now let's simply walk our feet in from wide to about parallel on the heels and press in and out, letting our body get used to this, feeling our power output on our right and left leg equalize. Now we're going to add an arm lift. As we press, reach right arm up and down, and then left up and down, and right and down, left. Couple more each side, right as we press, and then left as we press. Last one, right, and then left. All right, now, if you didn't fall off, move your feet together, and I want to stay on the heels, knees, toes, everything together. Let's do 5 presses with both our arms down and add that alternating arm reach. Press out for 5, 4, 3, feel your hips anchored and heavy, 2, and 1. Starting with right arm all the way in, press out, right up for 5, and down. Right, left, right, left. 2 more. Right, left, last one. And left. Now I'm going to kind of scooch my roller back a tiny bit more, or I'm going to scoot forward. My head was kind of going off. Let's move back to parallel hip distance on the heels. So we're going to do 5 presses just to reassociate ourselves. Let's press for 5, 4, arms are on the bed, 3, 2, 1 more. Go ahead and close all the way, left leg in tabletop. Press right for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. If you're good, let's go ahead and raise the right arm every time we press out for 5 and down. Only right. 4, down on the close, up on the open. 2 more. Left leg still in tabletop. Last one. And switch. Left down, right up, both arms down for the first 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Raising the arm on the press if you want for 5, left arm up and down. Raise on the open, lower on the down. For 3, 2 more, 2, and 1. Now let's go in a V on the heels. Both arms are out to the side. I'm holding a gigantic ball, so it's a hug-a-tree position. And as I press out, I want my arms to come together holding a medium-sized ball. So let's press out, arms come up, grab that medium-sized ball, and then back out for 5, and up as we press, reach out as we close, and 3, reach up as we press, open out as it closes, and 1 more. This feels great on my upper back. Now let's see if we can hold our arms out. We're still in a V, holding that giant ball without moving. Imagine you're holding a heavy weight in your right arm, so that pec and lat need to be on. Slowly raise your left arm. Slowly is better. And back out. And then hold a heavy weight with your left hand in your mind and reach your right arm up. Nice and slow so your body can really get used to this feeling. And back out. Let's do 1 more each. If you're having a trouble with this, rest 1 arm down as an assist on the frame. 1 more each way. Or simply widen your stance on your feet. Now, every time we close, we're going to raise one arm. So let's press out with both arms open. As we close, reach right arm up and then back out. And left arm up, holding that heavy weight with that reached arm, that extended arm, and right and out and left and out. Last one each side. Right goes up on the close, open on the open, and left. All right, let's go ahead and move to ball of our feet, parallel hip distance. And let's simply start with some heel stretches under and press away. I'm going to put my hands on my hips. You can rest your arms on the bed if you need extra support, because we're going to take one foot under the foot bar in a moment. Let's do 2 more. Stretch and press. Bird perch those toes. 1 more. And slowly engage your glutes. Engage your core. Lengthen your spine. If you can, take the left leg off and just hold that. Let's do arms out for extra support. And then stretch your heel under and press. Keep your hands aside your body if you need that extra help. 3, 2, feel like the weight's in the left hand, and switch. Now we're going to transition to holding your weight with our right hand. Imagine that heavy weight, so we're really turned on that whole right side. Right foot is under, glutes, abs, and spine length, and stretch ankle and press for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's close all the way. For the dismount, I just like to shift my feet to one side of the foot bar, slowly guide my hips onto the carriage, roll over, hand on the shoulder rest, drop seat down, and jump up. Okay, so we are done with the kneeling and the supine series. We're going to go into some standing series. Let's go ahead and push the carriage out without springs. Take them off. We are going to put the foam roller dead center. So when I push it through and I kind of hit my wool strap, I've got it dead center between the two. So really make sure it's even. Foot bar is vertical if you have that option. And grab your long, let's do short box at the spring side edge. All right. So we are going to use this box in a moment, but for now, just push the carriage all the way to the back. Let's start with left foot behind and right foot in front. Now that foot bar is there if you need it. Do not use it if you don't. So you need to be able to get on, and you can use your fingertips to start with if you have an issue. When we move to the full foam roller, you want to make sure that you never ever lift your hands off, because you could roll your ankle unless your stability is crazy. So let's simply start by organizing. Make sure your weight on your feet is even front to back, and just see if you can take your arms off. Now, I've been doing a lot of balance training lately because I'm recovering from an ankle sprain. So I am still very wobbly on my left ankle. So this is really good for me. Just prevent a knee lock and spot something if you need that extra assistance. Let your body make the corrections. Wobbling and ankles are moving. Body is going to shift. That's where the foot bar is there to help us not hit the ground. Shift your weight evenly between the feet as possible. And let's just do another 10 seconds. I remember the days when this was not an issue. And rest. So anytime you have an ankle sprain, switch legs, and you recovered from that, it's really important to get it on an unstable surface versus trying to strengthen in full range of motion. Shaking it is really helpful. So let's go ahead and switch. Left is forward, right is back. Make sure you're far forward enough to where you're not reaching to that foot bar. Your hands are just touching. I really want to make sure there's zero turnout in the feet. So really double check that they're heel to toe, straight forward, pointed at 12. Organize, shift your weight between your feet, and then take your hands off as you get through this movement in the ankles and let the body find itself. Remember, if you have any segments in the spine that are misaligned, skull energy reaching your crown of your head, lengthening through your neck and your spine is very helpful. With my right leg back, I feel I'm about another 20% stable, even though I haven't done any instability work in quite some time. I would say maybe a year that I had this injury. Kind of tough when you're a Pilates and movement teacher and you're always moving to really get some time off that ankle. So that's why it took forever. All right, so I think that's good for that. Now we're going to do single leg. Put your left leg, you want to be fairly far forward. We are going to just start by, I call it just like a toe tap. Just kind of let yourself lift the toe up. Now for me, I may not be able to stay too much on this. Let's just spend maybe a minute here. If you can take that toe tapping away and lift the foot up, great. Let your body find those corrections. Prevent yourself from shifting in the hips like this. So really make sure your standing leg is engaged at the glutes and you're lengthened up. No sense in creating instability at the pelvis if the glute is not engaged. Hold it for another 15, 20 seconds. And rest. Switching legs, put your right foot center. Stand on it. Do that toe tap until you kind of feel that you're balanced, and then take the foot away. Lengthen up. Adjust that foot if you need. Mine was a little tiny bit off to the right on that roller. And you'll notice when you do this a couple times, come back to this class and do this. You don't have to do all of them, but just pick something that you're challenged on. It may be everything. It may just be some specifics. And then work on that. You'll notice the difference in just a couple months. I try to make sure that there's at least 2 classes a week in my studio programmed for balance. Not the whole class like today, but elements of this. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get in a bent over position. Let's go back to that left. This is where we're going to use that box. So I've got just the top of my foot on that box, and I'm going to stand up tall. I'm going to get a little bit of a thigh stretch, and I'm simply going to move the carriage in and out with my foot. I'm going to start adding hip flexion as the carriage moves back. So don't be in a hurry to push the carriage all the way back. Push it back as you flex. Otherwise, you're going to run out of room. Flex at the hips. Go as low as you can. And then back up, pulling that carriage back in as you extend your left hip. Let's do 4 more. Guide the box back, flexing that standing hip. Try to keep a flat back. And up. And 3 more. And up. Hold on to that bar if you need it. Last 2. And up. And 1 more. Starting to feel a lot of work on that standing hip. And up. Excellent. Let's go ahead and switch feet. Right center. Left is on. Sit back in that hip, get yourself organized, and then come to standing. I am going to adjust my roller slid a little bit off. There we go. All right, so nice and tall. Starting to get that sense of moving the carriage back and forth. Make sure your foot is nice and planted as even as can on that half roller. Length through your spine, getting that thigh stretch. Now bring the knee underneath you. Flex at that standing hip. Arms reach back and flex as the carriage pushes back. And up, knee comes back in. Length through the spine. 4 more. Flexing at the hip. Making the body weight stay in the hip as opposed to the knee. And up. 3. And up. Last 2. And 1 more. And then come up. Let's go ahead and take that foot off. Let's go ahead and turn around. Let's do heel to toe, left forward, right back. And what we're going to do is we're going to just flex the hips. Nice and easy. Bending the elbows as we come down and press back up. Let's do a couple more. And then we're going to take our arms off overhead and up. Still trying to focus on flexing from the hips. Noticing my hips reach back to that foot bar. Now come up. Arms overhead. Hands back to box. Flex at the hip. Moving the carriage. And up. Arms overhead. Hands back to box. And flex at the hips. Let's do 2 more of those. Up. Raise. And stand tall. And back. And last one. Up. Raise. Arms overhead. And back. Switch your foot position. Left back, right forward. Let's do a couple hip hinges. Movement from the hips in that nice soft knee position and up. 2 more. And up, getting that nice hamstring and hip stretch. Last one. Now, if you have a shorter reformer, you can always put an arc or a couple yoga blocks on that to lift you up too, because I'm on the 18-inch. I forgot to mention that. So if you have the Mini Max soft arc from Hooked on Pilates, put a grippy pad, then your hands will start a lot higher, so you don't have to go down. It's up to you. All right, so now let's add 5 where we do arms overhead on the lift. Start in that squat position, that deadlift position. Bring your arms up and overhead as you stand and back down and up. Stand tall, arms overhead, back down. My left ankle is telling me how much it wants this, even though it's telling me to get off the foam roller. And 2 more. And up. And arms overhead. And back down. And last one. Now, if you're like me and you are recovering from an ankle injury, these are going to be great for you, but please know your limitations. Let's step off. Push the carriage open. If you feel that any of these feel compromising, do not do them. Be very, very aware of your limitations and your abilities. So we're going to stay facing the box and flip your half roller over to where the dome side is down and the flat side is up. Now this works a little different. Put your feet on. I call this it's like the surfboard. and just hold that standing. And just get that nice stability in the body. Let the ankles move all around. This all the half roller exercises that we did with the flat spot down, you can do it flipped too. So this is just some options in today's class. So let's do you to the first time and you want to add a little bit different movement, do that. So let's go into that flexed hips, up and arms overhead and back down for 4 more, and up and 3 and up and 2 and up and last one. And switch your foot position, left back, right forward, and let's just give ourselves a minute standing without doing anything. This side is going to be my challenge, so I'm going to work really hard. If you cannot do both arms overhead, just do one when we do that. That might be an option for me on this ankle. We'll see. Let's do another 20 seconds. All right, hands on the box, flex at the hips, lower down as the carriage goes to the back. Bring it in, stand up, arms overhead, hands back down, and open as you flex at the hips, and back up, arms overhead, and arms to box, flex at hips. Last 2. And 1 more. All right, so we're done with the half roller, but before we're done, I just want to take you and show you something real quick. Let me grab. We're not going to do this today, but it made me realize that actually let me just show you. We'll do it another day. Switching your hands with a ball. So we're going to go on to the foam roller, but let's show you real quick so you can try this at home. Flex, come up, hand that ball to your right, and back down. So there's some options you can do. You can go out, hand it off to the front, and back down. So those are some wonderful options. If you want to add some hand weights or a ball, this is just a 1-pound ball. All right, done with the half roller. Let's go ahead and grab the full foam roller. Now, if you have octagonal weights at your studio, you can take and wedge some weights here. Make sure they're above 15 pounds. I'm 200 pounds, so I need a little bit more stability. If you feel that this is rocking and rolling and you don't have the ability to do this, if you try this with me right now and you're like, I can't even stand up, put the half roller back on, all right? So for those of you that are going to do the foam roller, for safety purposes, make sure it's between the front legs so it has no chance of rolling out. I don't want it back. So you can see right there, it's going to block it. So that's super important. We're going to keep this mid-level with the option of higher level. We're going to put left leg back. Make sure your body weight is over your arms. And then put your right foot forward. And we're just going to hold that there. That's all we're going to do. You can see that I haven't been on a surfboard in quite some time. And use your arms to help stabilize you. Ground your feet, that's super important. And once you get settled, I'm going to move my left foot back a tiny bit more. My toes touching my heel. All right, so get your feet grounded. Slowly bend your elbows and put your palms flat. You do not take your hands away. I will say that 100 times. Do not take your hands away if you feel uncomfortable. What we're going to do is raise our right hand up and back. That's it. 5 on the right. Raise it up and back. Please stay out of your left shoulder, so make sure your pec and lat are engaged. And up and down. And up and down. Last one. Up and down. Shift your body weight into your right pec and lat. Right glute, left glute are both working. Left hand up and down. And up and down. Up and down. 2 more. Up and down. 1 more. Up and rest off the foam roller. So, as I mentioned before, wedge something in to take some of the instability out. When you use the octagonal weights, I don't want them so far wedged forward that there's zero movement. So if you've got the foam roller here, don't put the octagonal weights right next to it. Move it just a little bit so you get some instability. And once you gain that balance and ankle strength and coordination, then you can do that. So let's start with the left, then you can move it slightly away even more. So let's do left forward. Get ourselves up. Just let our right leg hang there. And just do little swings forward and back. I'm going to step my left foot back a little bit more. I just felt it was too far forward. There we go. Shift your weight into that heel. But just make sure your chest is over the bar and do those pendulum swings. I want that work in that standing hip, not that knee. So shift your weight back onto that heel. So 5 swings, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch. Right on. Also, if you have a slippery floor, put some grippies under the foam roller to help prevent it from sliding. So I'm starting with my body slightly forward of the foot bar. I'm going to shift my weight back into my heel, lift my left foot off, and let's do 10 total swings for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step off, back to left on, right off. Weight in that heel. And just go for pendulum swings again. If you can, take the other arm off for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch, right on, left off. Get yourself really supported on that foam roller. Engage the glute, weight in the heel. Optional right arm off, pendulum swings for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Let's go ahead and put our left back on. Keep both hands on. Take your right leg back, find the carriage, and then put the leg on the box. All right. We're going to do the same thing we did earlier, where we just open and close the carriage. Get your weight in that left heel, organize, and let's just do 5 more in and out. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Let's flex at the hips, lower ourselves down, extend the leg out, and lift and lower the leg for 5, Straight leg lifts, glute work. 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch legs. Right foot on the foam roller. Left foot on the box. Sit back on that heel. And in and out with the carriage for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press and hold the box back. Bend at the elbows, flex at the hips, raise the leg up and off for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Let's turn around. Bring the box in. For this one, let's lower the foot bar. I want to kind of get it out of the way so we can do some leg circles. Now, when you're doing straight leg lower and lifts, the pendulum swings that version or just the lifts. It's important to know, stay there if moving it outside in a range of a circle is too much. So hands are on the box, left foot is on. Now the difference between this and the foot bar is the foot bar didn't move. We've got the option of the bed moving. So all we're gonna do is bring our left leg up, soften your elbows, pitch forward, and little circles, 5 each direction in the leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and switch. Now for all of my students that move their pelvis all over the place, and I'm telling them always not to move their pelvis when they're doing stuff, put them on a foam roller. They will not move their pelvis for fear of falling over. I'm kidding, I say that tongue in cheek, but really, if you have a student that's all over the place with their hips, this is a great way to progress them up to understanding stability. So right foot is on, hands are on, left leg is up over that foot bar, soften the elbows, flex the hips, get ourselves organized, and leg circles for 5, level pelvis, 4, 3, this whole foam roller is really challenging everything, and 1. Reverse those circles for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So anytime you're standing on a full foam roller, it's super important to be very, very careful. Whether your hands are on the foot bar facing front or your hands are on the moving carriage facing back, please be careful. Always use those octagonal weights. Use a half roller before doing any of these. In this class, we started with a half roller, moved up. So let's say you want to do the whole class, but you're not ready for the full foam roller. When I switch to the foam roller and you went, no, I'm not even going to do that, but I'm going to watch it to see what he's doing, do it again with the half roller. Don't switch this out. Watch this video a couple times or do it a couple times and then play around with different variations. As I mentioned, there's so much you can do with single arm hand weights. You can do some ankle work with ankle weights too. So if I'm going to do those pendulum swings, or I'm going to do this with a light ankle weight, like I think they're called Tony bands or just 1 pound ankle weights. I don't even know how much they weigh. I see all the ladies on social media using them. So those are great. If you want to put the bands around your ankles and around your wrist and do all of this, it's going to add some anchoring, but it's going to also add some challenge and stability. All right, so we're done with the balance. Let's just spend the last couple minutes stretching our hips. So let's push the carriage all the way to the back. If you need pads for your hands because you have metal risers, please grab a couple of pads and let's pigeon sit facing the back. Stretch those hips that we just woke up for the last 50 minutes. And hands on and in and out. Now, if this is bothering your knee, always do it quarter turned like this. taking the foot off the box. If it doesn't and it's all in the hip, come back. All right, let's do 10 with both hands on, one on each riser. And 9, 8, 7, 6, and last 5. Try to flex at the hips more than the spine. And 2 more. In and stretch. And in and stretch. Let's go ahead and switch. Hips, that is. Well, my bed wants to move today. Come on. All right. And let's open and close the carriage, stretching into that hip for 10, 9, 8, 7, and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. All right, slowly come out. That concludes today's balance class. Thank you for joining me. And most importantly, if you have any questions about any of the safety requirements for doing standing foam roller or sitting or lying foam roller, please leave it in the comments or send me an email at sean@seanbergere.com. Sometimes when we leave them in the comments, we're a little apprehensive because everybody else is going to see them. But please know that if you're having an issue with something or have a question on something, chances are somebody else too. So feel free to, you can, even if you want to do it in an email, I can always put the Q&A under my name so no one knows who did it, because I want you guys really to feel open to give me feedback, comments, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see in the future. And I'm really trying to make sure that we have a wide range of variety of things to do, whether it's strength, coordination, balance, teaching, education. So please, if there's something you want to see that you're not seeing, or something that maybe I'm not doing enough of and you want more of that, let me know in the comment section or an email. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next video.